Thank you for coming out to the Sleepy Hollow panel at Comic-Con. My name is Rob Moynihan. I'm the senior writer at TV Guide magazine, and I'm curious, how many of you were here last year when we premiered? It's because of you, when we premiered, I think just back in that room, that this show has become such a global phenomenon. So give yourselves a hand. So we have a really fun panel for you in store. You're going to see some sneak peeks at the new season. So let's get the panel started. Please welcome the executive producers, Alex Kurtzman, Bob Orsi, Mark Kaufman, Heather Caden, and stars Tom Mison. So we're all here to learn so much about season 2. And I know you guys love saying everything, all spoilers and all details. But to start it out for the producers, talk a little bit about season 2. Is there an overriding theme for these next 18 episodes?
Yeah, there is. With the introduction of war, we felt that that's obviously something we're going to carry through this season with John Noble's character. But also with that comes redemption. He's a family member, so really deep-seated into this season is about family, is about hope, redemption, all within the context of war.
Can you tease at where we're going to pick up? I mean, you left at a pretty intense cliffhanger there.
Yeah. Well, I think that one of the things that that we love so much, and we're so first of all, hi. It's unbelievable to be so grateful to all of you. It's unbelievable. You are the reason that the show is on the air. So thank you. And I think one of the things that we felt very strongly was that we read everything you guys write, and we look at Twitter, and we look at all the articles and all the reviews, and the unexpected seems to go very well. And so what we wanted to do was make sure that we did as much as possible to put everybody in the worst possible situation at the end of the year, and we didn't want to get out of that easily. So whatever you think is coming isn't what's coming. And we can promise you that.
Turns out it wasn't so easy to get them out.
Well, Tom, let's talk about Ichabod. How have you changed your approach to playing him in season 2 now that you've learned more about this guy? What can we expect with Ichabod in season 2?
I've got to get out of the box.
Yes.
I think Mark enjoyed putting me in a box too much.
6 episodes.
It's very weird that when it's a part that is very definitely a character part, it's really weird when you take a break from it. Because I got back to Wilmington a few months ago. Wilmington's here. Because I arrived after our 5-month break and thought, oh God, what did I do? I can't remember what I was doing last year. And it's a real credit to the writers that as soon as I start reading the scripts, and Ichabod is there again. And so it's quite easy when you've got good writers who understand the character and are giving it to you, and of course the wig and the coat and those boots. But it kind of comes back quite nicely. Boot fan.
While Tom mentioned it, the writers are here. Stand up. We have an amazing staff.
I think one of the best parts about season 1, I know a lot of people really responded to it, was how Ichabod is constantly bewildered by 21st century wonders. What will we learn about this season? Can you say anything about what Ichabod will take on?
You learned that he watched Glee.
Did he enjoy it?
I doubt it. No, it's Fox. He loved it. And I'm hoping it's one step closer to our musical episode.
I think so. So no singing for Ichabod this year then?
Not yet. I'd like to see Ichabod and Abby at karaoke though.
Yeah.
Islands in the Stream, maybe.
Well, Nicole, let's talk about Abby a little bit because she also had a very eventful finale. She is spending some time in purgatory. How is that going to change her going forward in season 2? Is she going to learn anything about something?
Yeah, she finds out things about her family. I think she learns about why she's a witness, her mother, her father. Sorry, I'm sitting on my legs because I'm short. Having a difficult time reaching the microphone. Yeah, and also, I don't know if you guys remember, Becky. At the end of the season, Ichabod betrayed Abby in a way by drawing a map. So now they have a little bit of patching up to do.
And Orlando, there's a theme with these characters. They're all in terrible situations. The last time we saw them, you were in jail.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate it. Yeah, you know, I didn't want to be a stereotype. My mother's probably very upset, but that's how For good reason, my daughter is in peril, and I am doing my very best to save my family. And I think that's kind of what's incredible about what they crafted. We start off with a non-believer, and then he's in the total opposite position at the end of the season, and you've seen all the characters go through this amazing arc, so it's fun for me.
Yeah. Well, you announced that there is a new sheriff in town. Can you tell us a little bit about this new sheriff character and what we can expect? Heather?
Yes, well, we knew that with Irving incarcerated, we needed a new sheriff because for a while it'd been kind of easy for Abby and Crane to get in and out of the police precinct and do whatever they wanted, and Crane was the supposed history consultant and Irving was going on their adventures with them. So we wanted to have someone who was going to be more of an obstacle for them. And what's great about the actress who is playing this character, as you'll see, she's not playing her very stereotypically. I mean, I think she's more of a quiet strength, which has been really exciting for the role.
Yeah.
She has a history with Abby's mother that we'll find out about, which I think was important again with the theme of family we're having this year. And it was important also that, you know, it was somebody with diversity in their background, and it's just part of the fabric of the show, and I think she fits in really, really well.
Yeah. Orlando, what do you think Irving will feel that there is a new sheriff? How do you think he'll feel there's a new sheriff?
Oh, I don't like her at all. I don't know what you're talking about. It's a horrific situation. I lost my job. I'm in jail. There's a new sheriff waving around town. It's really not pleasant. It's not pleasant at all. It's difficult, I think, because my family is involved, and he's been separated from them. And, you know, as a father and also as someone who's given their life to service, I think feeling helpless the way he does and the circumstances that he's in are super difficult for him.
Yeah, yeah. And Katya, now that Katrina has been freed from purgatory, where does that leave her in season 2? Are we going to see more interaction with Ichabod? What's going on here?
Well, I'm not exactly free. I mean, I'm out of purgatory, but I'm trapped with Headless.
It's a small, yeah.
Just a little tiny detail, but there's actually a really interesting relationship forming between Headless and Katrina, as well as with Crane. There's going to be more scenes with Crane for sure, but because Katrina can see Headless as her, fiance, she's the only one who can see him for what he. I could say that, right, Bob? You told me, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone's like, wow. So everyone else sees Headless as Headless, but Katrina can see him as Abraham. So there's a little bit of the Beauty and the Beast kind of situation. He obviously loves her, but it's a very interesting way of showing it. But yeah,
there's also, which I've been looking forward to, scenes with Crane, and I'm not going to interfere with this lovely relationship, but I'm sure there's lots of people of you out there that wants me to go away. But there's going to be more But you're going to see why, more in depth, why they love each other so much. And so I hope you'll appreciate that a little bit at least.
And Lindsay, can you talk about the relationship between Jenny and Abby this year? Are the sisters going to be getting along, or what can you tease?
Well, it took so much for the sisters to be getting along in the first place.
Right.
There's so much in their history, and I think that sisters will be sisters, so they're always going to argue over something. And the stakes are so high in the show, the stakes are so high in their lives that I'm pretty sure that they'll have more conflict at some point, but who knows what it'll be.
Yeah, and like Nicole was saying, it sounds like some past is going to come out with their family as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can get together at some point and kick ass.
No, and they do. I think what
As a pair.
you know, I think that they've worked so hard to get each other back that every step, every argument is going to bring them closer in the end. You know, that's how siblings work. Hopefully.
Can you talk about Henry/Jeremy now? We really didn't know. Yeah, John His true identity was finally revealed. So where does that leave him for season 2? Are we going to learn so much more about this guy?
It's a beautiful season, and thank you for that reception. It's so lovely to be back with you again.
Mama's very proud.
Mother's very proud. Dad doesn't care.
I just want to listen to that voice.
More tears. They don't cry about that. So we had this extraordinary situation here with the finale at season 1, where he took revenge in the most wonderful finale, you know, where he pinned his mum to the wall and gave him away to a headless man on a horse and buried his son alive. Yes. So where do you go from there? I mean, all of the principal characters are dead or in purgatory or in car crashes or in prison or something. It's just me. But he's done that. So he's had his revenge, but he's also still a servant of Moloch and a servant of evil, and has to. He becomes sort of a really interesting, malevolent character. He's had his revenge. He doesn't need that anymore. But now he becomes a personification of evil, and he becomes a very powerful man within the township, and brings in and plants seeds of doubt everywhere, in everyone. So he appears to be. He's a lawyer these days. That didn't take long for a smart witch like me. But he sees everywhere there's doubt, and that's one of the great things I think about this season, by the way, is that somebody can ruin a relationship just planting a seed. Just plant a seed and it grows. And that happens all the way through. He's done that. And so far we've shot quite a bit of the season. I'm not sure how much. But that's been the thing, man. He's very cold and calculating and quite brilliant, really, in the way that he manipulates and how he plans this taking over the world to prepare for the apocalypse. Beautifully done, you know, with all the... I can't say much, but it's really detailed how he goes about it. But we do need to then look at the redemption aspect of it, because otherwise characters are not that interesting, are they? If there is no hope for them, and there will be, and the mum and dad still, even though Henry's behaved so poorly, for me, it's just an adolescent stage. They're perfectly alive at 16. Angst, yeah. Anyway, then we'll go to redemption. Someone's trying to shut me up. But then we'll head towards redemption, see what cases. Thank you.
sounds pretty juicy. Do we have anything to see? Do we have anything else we can
I mean,
check out?
would you like to?
Why don't we see something?
Yeah. That's the first time I saw that too. That was badass. That was great. All right, so we will take questions from the audience. So if you have some, please form a line somewhere where the line is. But we have to talk about Ichabod. It's Tom and Nicole. Talk about the relationship between Ichabod and Abby, because you are partners. Ichabod is married, but it sometimes kind of borders on the romantic. How do you go about playing these characters? What do you think the relationship is like?
I'm not trying to be romantic. Can you afford one microphone each? Get the Bro's got one microphone each.
Season 4, Tom.
Hashtag Ichabod. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very nice that some people would like this and some people would like this. I don't know whether they set you on different sides. Katrina over there and Ichabod over there, and then you could just fight it out.
I think people may just be responding to their chemistry as working partners, that's all.
Mark, can you talk about kind of writing that relationship and maybe where we'll see them go in season 2? Does that relationship get tested? You mentioned it a little earlier, but what else can you say about that?
Yeah, well, starting with characters who are literally from such different eras gives us a long, breadth to go, and they have to work together. They have literally the stakes of the world when they're together, so they have to figure out a way to make it work. And I think what's fun to write is that they have to, the two of them together, if you look, they're this amazing couple. And
I think you're right that they have to be together. Who knows whether they would ever have chosen to form a partnership. I think it's the fact that they seem so odd together and that they really annoy each other sometimes. I think that's A, what makes it very interesting, and B, it's what some of you seem to find a little spicy.
we work hard to ground their relationship in a real relationship, so they have their differences and they air them out. And I think that's what's fun to see on screen, like when, he finishes the incantation and it doesn't work. And it's very much a couple trying to work through, we better get this to work quickly, or, Headless is going to chop our heads off.
Yeah, that's
You
motivating.
said something really interesting when we were at the TCA last week, because we did not conceive these characters to be what you've all taken away from that relationship. And I like that you said it's nice to have a female character who's not defined by her feelings for a man or her feelings of a man. It's an amazing friendship with amazing trust, and they really only have each other and they're in it together, and it's great you guys see more, but that's the core of it.
Very cool. Well, there's a huge line here in the middle, so let's start with some audience questions. Go ahead.
My name is Lauren. I'm from Chino Hills, California. Nicole, I want to say you did great on 42. Dodger Nation is proud. I also want to commend that I liked seeing such diversity in a cast. It's not something. My question is, what hooked me on this show is the fact that I'm a history buff. Okay, and I like the neat twists you guys have on history with George Washington, and we've seen the true reason of Paul Revere and why he was going to the steeple. What other things are we going to see in this coming season, or is that going to continue?
That's a lot of the fun of the show, thanks. We have some really good stuff, starting even in the premiere. We're going to see a lot of Benjamin Franklin this year. Yes, we're gonna actually. This was inspired by Tom, who said to me last season one of the things he knew about Benjamin Franklin was that he used to take these air baths nude, and so I thought, well, we should see a lot of that. So they had an uneasy relationship. We'll find out between Crane and Benjamin Franklin. Benedict Arnold has an appearance this season. That'll be really interesting to learn, how he became a traitor to our country, or a part of Tom's country.
I'm a big fan.
We have some really fun, we're calling it twistery now, that we're going to throw into the show this season.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Steve from Seattle. I want to thank you first for providing a show, one of the very few shows that my wife actually enjoys watching with me. Thank you for that. And a big part of it is the chemistry between these two guys. So thank you as actors, thank you writer guys over here. Excellent job, thanks a lot. My question is this: it seems like Ichabod's whole, recent life in the last 30 years or so, he's been a victim of circumstance. A lot of things have happened to him that he didn't ask for, that he didn't deserve. His wife traveling through time. His relationship with his son is a little bit dysfunctional. And it seems like whatever choices he makes, for whatever reason, seem to turn out fairly poorly. And I'm wondering if being paired with Abby will inspire him to make better choices.
Absolutely.
I think the nice thing about it, you hit the nail on the head, is that a lot of the trouble is because there wasn't no choice for Ichabod. And I think that's that goes all the way back to the Greeks. I mean, in brilliant storytelling, when it's out of the character's hands. And that's always exciting, watching people try to deal with something they have no control over. And yes, of course, underneath that, there are the minor choices that are made. And yes, of course, Abby helps. It's nice to see that. It's nice to see Abby leads and inspires. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Kelly. I was here at your panel last year. It was by far the best pilot I've ever seen at Comic-Con. And I spent the next 2 months trying to explain to my friends, you have to watch this show. There's Ichabod Crane and this badass cop, and there's time travel and the apocalypse and the Headless Horseman and Evil John Cho. There's so much mythology, there was so much plot, you packed so much into that short season. I mean, coming back in for season 2 with such expectation and so much you've done and everyone trapped in horrible spots, what was your biggest obstacle coming back in the writing room and coming back on set?
Well, for sure the biggest obstacle for, I think, everybody was that, as we were saying, we put them in the worst possible situations at the end of the year, and I think that the good news was we knew from the beginning of last season how we wanted to end, and so everything was, we laid a lot of bricks in mortar to get there, hopefully in a disguised way that you didn't see coming, but felt inevitable once it arrived. And we knew we were going to have to pick up with some version of what that was at the top of the next season. The hard part is we didn't want to make it easy. We really didn't want to make getting out of the coffin easy. We didn't want to make everybody's predicament resolved quickly. So figuring out ways that we obviously have to keep our story moving forward, but also not have you feel cheated in how we end up resolving some of these things. Hopefully the solutions, weirdly, will provide other problems that now they have to deal with moving forward. So that's it.
But we're lucky that we get the plan. I mean, John could tell you about how he knew where the season was going. And so if you watch season 1 again and you see John Noble's performance, you understand that he's actually giving hints to the fact that he knows what's happening. And that's the kind of layered storytelling you can only do when you have a little bit of time to plan. We told you where you were going to be, right? Yeah. I'm kidding. I mean, yes, I know.
Thank you.
Yes, hi. My name is Gilad. It's spelled G-Y-L-A-T. It's an unusual name. And what attracted me to the show was I was not here last year, but John, I remember you from Fringe. Bridge, and you, by the way. Love you, would love a hug, but I know we're not allowed to ask those things. What happened was I was flipping channels, I saw John, I saw one episode of yours in the middle of the season, became addicted, went back online, saw the rest of it, got caught up, and I said, okay, this has to be some of the best damn science fiction I've seen on television lately. Thank you very, very much, and I'm really, really glad that you have John on your team. And I love all of you, and I really love the relationship between you guys and you rock.
Thanks very much.
Somebody with a question next.
My name's Al from San Diego. This is my daughter Alexa. We love your show. I wanted to make a small comment about what Tom said about the producers and writers wanting to put him in a box all the time, make it very hard. I find it kind of ironic that you started the season out in a box and you kind of ended the season. My question though is for Katrina. I'm wondering if in the season, as the season goes on, as a witch being out of purgatory, will you develop more power as the season?
Special powers, yes. I'm so excited to to use magic, because I didn't really do much of it at all in season 1. I managed to make this twig twitch. Very poorly, but yes, so there's going to be more of that, which...
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm also a history buff. I fell in love with the show with my mom and my best friend. We watched it together. And I was wondering, how do you guys pick and choose between historical and religious elements to incorporate into your show?
We always try to start with something that really happened, like the story of George Washington, or Zombie George Washington, as we started calling it, is a true story that 3 days after he died, his doctors tried to resurrect him. And so he says, well, what if they actually did? That's what happened in our world. And most of our stories that have a historical basis, we do find something in the American Revolution that really did happen, and then we just sort of, pull back the veil and tell it in our way. That's sort of our approach.
It's also like thinking back when you were in school, what are the 10, 20 top things you remember? We kind of go down the list of the things that we've all sort of heard a little bit and explore them a little bit deeper.
It's my favorite part. Thanks.
Right on, good.
Hi, I'm Catherine from San Diego, and I love the show. I love that it's a surreal, otherworldly, kind of fun horror show. But like the first questioner said, it's perhaps one of the most realistic shows in terms of diversity on TV. And I sort of wanted to know the thought process behind that, whether it comes out in the writing phase, the casting phase, how you guys kind of basically brought the cast together that you have. And also, postscript, is Luke going to be in season 2? Thank you.
Diversity for us is not about doing the right thing. This is going to sound weird. It's about the fact that it represents our country and the world that we live in, and it's actually it's good for the business for us to see each other on screen and to see each other's faces. This country has been the melting pot, but it hasn't always been on screen. And so now, finally, I think, audiences are demanding it, and the studios are smartly recognizing that we want TV to represent who we all are. And that's actually great, and it's interesting. And it makes for good TV, and it's good for the business, and it's good for everybody.
I think it gives us a real advantage in storytelling because, like the question before about some of the mythology that we're able to draw from, we didn't want to just make this just about the Bible or the book of Revelation. It's really a multicultural approach to the apocalypse. And every society has some vision of it. And so, in having characters with diverse backgrounds, we get to bring all of those stories in and make them natural and organic to our show.
And that's why I want to make sure we help as many Australians and Englishmen as we can.
I think the second part of that question was, is Luke coming back to season 2?
In addition, we have a new arms dealer who deals in supernatural weaponry that we'll see fairly early on in the season, and I think help mix things up between Crane and Abby. Matt Barr, who is an amazing actor. So that'll be very exciting. Oh, that wasn't even a question, so. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
There's never a no.
It's never a no on Sleepy Hollow.
Hi, my name's Camille. I'm sorry, I'm really nervous. I'm from Texas. Amazing. So, what really drew me to the show was the supernatural elements. That's what I look for in a television show. And I was wondering, to you guys, you've had succubi, headless horsemen, wendigos, like all kinds of creatures. If you had to choose anything from, say, mythical, supernatural, biblical, whatever kind of creature you could bring to the show, what would you be interested in bringing in that you already aren't, or what are you thinking about?
I want to play a centaur.
We can arrange that, dude.
I'd love to see your body on a horse's.
We'll arrange that. Fan art, if there's any fan art. Well, we don't really do it.
Nicole? Wasn't there?
Oh, yeah, I've been lobbying to play a mermaid, but... Mark went and did some research and found like these prehistoric furry men that he found like were some sort of prehistoric ape like mermaid thing, and I was like, that's not really what I had in mind.
That's why we haven't seen it yet. We're work in progress.
Orlando?
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
We're gonna go down the line with fantasy animals. I got it. Yeah, unicorn. I want to be like. Sparkles and flower crowns.
I think I want to see some hot Vikings on show.
You're my wife.
When we speak of diversity and, as a sort of multicultural look at the apocalypse, maybe just some good old duppy from the Caribbean, some Caribbean ghosts.
You want to be a Teletubby.
Is that your impression of me?
Hello, I'm Erin from Maryland, and when the show first came out last year, the biggest naysayers I heard was, "Man Out of Time's been done a million times. There's nothing more to do with it." But you guys keep it so fresh and so funny, like this brilliant bank scene we just saw. So how do you do it? How do you keep it so interesting and hilarious?
For us, one of the inspirations was always, what would in a sense the first American, Tom Mison, Ichabod Crane, who fought. He fought and literally died as one of the first Revolutionary War heroes. What would an American then, who was fighting for these incredible ideals, think of this country now? And then many of you have sort of a kind of a cool theme like that. The humor comes out of just imagining what the difference is. Some things I think you would think are amazing and great. obviously the idea of his new partner Abby being someone so powerful and part of law enforcement is amazing, and yet there's also that credit card problem that's getting us all in debt. So the minute and that's hopefully why it feels maybe relevant and why some of the history buffs are enjoying it, because history is about telling us about ourselves, who we are today. And so having that comparison, I think, is what allows us to keep it a little bit more than just a joke and going, oh, what's this microwave doing here? You know, it's got a theme.
Hi, my name is Kellen. I'm here from San Diego. Want to apologize for the humidity, not normal. Huge fan of the show. You guys, especially the episodes, the cinematography, the score, the writing, better than most major horror movies out there. I'm going to be honest with you, I was a naysayer as well. I mean, a show about Sleepy Hollow, a fabled legend, how could it be a television series? So my question is, how long before the show premiered did you guys have this premise in mind with the post-apocalyptic, the historical, all the different monsters and, you know, witches and stuff? It's brilliant, and I hope I speak for everyone here that over 5 seasons, because it's great television.
Thank you. First, let's give a shout out to the man who came up with the original logline of this idea of Ichabod Crane coming in the future and joining us in the modern day. Phil Iskov, is he here?
Amazing job, Tom, by the way. Like, the best character I've seen on television in 10 years.
So when he walked in the room and gave us this incredible compass to go by, we all sat in a room together and figured out what are the things that we could develop this into. And so the idea of the Ichabod Crane story mixed with Rip Van Winkle, I guess, is I think the way we originally pitched it, Phil. And then we thought, well, okay, we understand how we could do that for an episode. What else can we do? The horsemen of the apocalypse, horsemen, headless horsemen, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Suddenly it led us to the Bible and led us to the world's mythology. And when we all kind of hit on that idea, we thought, you know, if we get that, mix it with history, Bible's been around as long as everything else, the idea of mixing history with religion and a little bit of fun, it just came very organically because the original idea that we were all discussing was so great.
That's great to hear because my parents usually don't.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, my mom watched her favorite show. And she believed in heaven and purgatory and stuff, so it's just well done.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Very much.
God bless you all.
Just for time, we're running out of time. If you could get to your question, we can get through as many people as
I
possible.
didn't something a little similar to his, but what did you deliberately set out to do to make this show different than other supernatural themed shows?
Well, I think from the look, there were certain shows that really inspired us. You know, we stand in the shadow of shows like The X-Files and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And those are shows that we grew up loving that were so unique because they were actually about something more than just, oh, there was a demon of the week. You know, for Buffy, it was a metaphor of all the different sort of growth stages that she went through, and obviously X-Files had its own mythology, but I think that the thing that makes certain shows work and endure is your investment in the relationship between the characters first. And if you can build that grounded emotional reality, I think it gives you license to let the audience go and buy into a much larger mythology. Sort of an answer to this and to the question before too, is that we knew that everybody would assume, well, how do you make a Headless Horseman show work? They can't be up against a Headless Horseman every week. There's got to be other bad guys. And so I think we knew that if the Headless Horseman, which you would expect to see, could be the entry point to a larger world, just the tip of the iceberg, and you start to realize witches and demons from the Bible, and suddenly a little bit like the Hellmouth, you were on top of something in which a beastie could come out. But what made those demons so great was that they were always manifestations of what the characters were going through. So that the inner demons were externalized by the bigger demons, and that's, I think, why shows like that endure. So we really wanted to do that, and I think, you know, hopefully we've succeeded, but in our minds, the formula for a successful mythology show and a successful genre show is characters who you believe we can invest in, and a mythology that feels like it's bigger than just the monster of the week.
Hi everyone, I'm a big fan of the show. I saw the pilot last year. It's fantastic, I love it. And to harken back on the question of race and representation, I wanted to specifically ask Orlando, Nicole, and Lindy, I'm sorry. Do you guys feel that you are the new stepping stones for, better shows with majority people of color, with strong, amazing women of color? Just, yeah.
There's plenty you should ask about women of color. And, I feel very strongly that, it's just important to be represented. You want to cut me off at any point here and save me from myself?
It's an honor. I don't know about a stepping stone. I like to think that I don't think about the diversity in color. It is what it is what it is. We know that you don't see casting like this everywhere. But I'm happy to say that it feels like after the show and after the show recognized that other shows were doing well, there are more shows that are representative of what the world looks like or this room looks like, so that's really exciting, and it's lovely to be a woman that has lines and is not like crazy about the guy. That's kind of amazing. So in that, I'm just very grateful and hopeful that it begets more.
I just have to agree, and I think it's lovely to be a part of such a diverse cast and have it not be about the diversity. It's about other things.
Yeah.
That leads into my comment first. Producers, brilliant casting, up and down. And then for my question, basically, what can you share that is on the cutting room floor in terms of like bloopers or something?
Did we get a blooper reel in the DVD? A blooper reel? Yeah.
They don't mess up. It's amazing.
There's like a small 1 to 2 minute blooper reel. Yes.
Also,
I mean,
it's great, but nobody swears like Tom Mison. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a new language of swears invented by Tom Mison. It's incredible. Some of them may have made blooper.
Thank you. I think one of the things that made the blooper reel, we had an episode last year, and there's a moment in an episode this year with crows, like ravens, and they loved us. They were all over us.
a couple of times.
It bit you. One of my favourite moments so far of this season is with a crow, the same crow that bit Katya, and his name is Shaft. There were two guys with Shaft, and he had to come in and sit on a windowsill, and I'd walk over, and he'd give me a note. And this bloody crow either hated me or loved the note. He wouldn't give it, and he'd go. And after doing about 10 minutes of just letting the camera roll to see if it ever happened, I just heard one of the guys, the handlers, outside the window just go, "God damn it, Shaft, you're being an idiot." That's my season 2 so far.
We have time for one more question.
Hi, I just wanted to say thank you for the writers for naming Detective Irving after the original author of Sleepy Hollow, Washington Irving. And my question is for Tom. Based on how Ichabod is such a dandy and
I'm trying to be very macho.
I love his mannerisms, and I was wondering if there was anyone in history that you modeled your character after.
I'm afraid not. Sorry. There is something, it's at the risk of sounding like a rather pretentious actor. There is, when you read scripts, occasionally you just hear the voice and you just see the mannerisms. And it's only when a script is really well written and the character is very clear and rounded. And I got that instantly from reading the pilot. Instantly had an image of Ichabod. And when I flew over to Los Angeles to meet Alex and Len Wiseman, who apologizes for not being able to make it today, but he sends lots of love. And we discussed what I saw, and by sheer fluke, they completely agreed. And we played around with that a bit. So no, there wasn't anyone in history particularly. I did do, in my first audition back in England, to put myself on tape, I was asked to do it once in my own accent and once with an American accent. And it seemed to fit better with my accent. And so I was struggling a bit with the American one. So I just did an impression of Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad. In fact, that's kind of where the eyebrows came from. Bryan Cranston thing. And also Charles Grodin in Midnight Run. Anyone, the older people in the audience, remember that? But no one from history. But thanks. Next year, if you give us a season 3, I promise I'll come back as Heisenberg.
Well, until season 3, please give it up for the cast.